Chapter 8. Beth woke up early the following morning and checked her messages. The report on Ranger Mike was waiting for her. She read it carefully and then put her phone down and thought. She took a shower and started to put her makeup on when her phone rang. The phone number appeared on her phone without a name. She answered it. "This is Agent Hartley." "Agent Hartley, hi, this is Catherine Blake from the EPA. You told me to call you when we learned something." "Yes, Dr. Blake. What did you find?" "Well, you won't like it, but we found nothing unusual about the meteorite. It's perfectly harmless." "What? That can't be. Are you sure?" "We did every test we could think of. It turns out it's just like any other rock." "That doesn't make any sense. What happened to all those people?" "We want to know that just as much as you do, Agent Hartley. We are preparing another team to go down there tomorrow morning." "Why not today?" Beth asked. "We wouldn't be able to get there until late afternoon, and you are expected to get some heavy rain there by then. There wouldn't be much we could do." "Okay, Dr. Blake. Thanks for letting me know." Beth finished getting ready and then called her supervisor. She told him the meteorite was clean and asked what he wanted her to do. "I already know they found nothing in that meteorite," Klein said. "The director got a call from Senator Drake. He knew before we did. He wants us to stay on it. He's worried that whatever is in the air out there might have a long-term effect on his daughter, and he wants answers. So stay there. Work with the EPA if you must, but find out what the hell is going on out there." "Yes, sir," Beth said. "I'll do what I can." She didn't bother calling Mike. She just got in her car and drove to his cabin. She knocked on the door and waited. After a minute, she knocked again. The door finally opened, and Mike stood there naked, except for a towel wrapped around his waist. His hair was wet, and he had a surprised look on his face. "Beth, I didn't expect you to be ready so early. Come on in. Give me a few minutes to finish getting ready." "Take your time," she said as Mike disappeared into the bathroom. Beth thought about following him into the bathroom and taking him right there. He could lean her against the sink. No. Banish the thought. She could watch him in the mirror. No. She couldn't let herself fall for this guy, no matter how good-looking he was. She had her own life and didn't need any complications right now. "So, why are you here so early?" Mike asked from the bathroom. Beth didn't feel like explaining everything to him from another room. "I'll tell you when you are done in there." "I'll be just a minute," he said as he left the bathroom, still wearing just a towel, and went into the bedroom. "I'll be here," Beth said. 3 minutes later, he came out mostly dressed, except his shirt was unbuttoned. As he was buttoning it, he looked at Beth and said, "What did you want to tell me?" Beth had the urge to unbutton his shirt, but stood her ground and said, "All of the tests on the rock came back negative. Whatever has been causing all these problems has nothing to do with that meteorite." "I heard the news before you got here," Mike said. Beth looked surprised and said, "You did? From whom?" "The superintendent called about 10 minutes ago. He got a call from Senator Drake, who is eager to find out what is going on. He wants me to continue working with you until we solve this mystery." My boss got the same call. It seems the good senator wants both of us on the case. He wants to ensure his daughter has not been exposed to anything that might affect her health in the future. So, I guess we're stuck with each other for a little longer. "It's been a while since I had a partner," Mike said. "Professionally, I mean." "I sometimes work with a partner, but it is not always the same person," Beth said. "That's surprising," Mike said. "How do you build trust if your partner constantly changes?" "It's not like I have someone different every single time, but often they give the assignments to whoever has the right gifts for the situation. If we want to take down a white-collar criminal, someone who can hack computers works better than someone good at negotiating with kidnappers." "I see your point, but I would still rather have someone that I know well and who knows me well. It is much easier to work as a team that way." "I'm surprised to hear you say that, Mike, considering one of your own men betrayed your trust." Mike looked shocked at the statement and said, "You had me checked out. Why would you do that?" "I needed to know if I could trust you to have my back. I worry because you left the military and became a park ranger because you could no longer trust the people you worked with. At least here, you can be on your own most of the time." I need to be able to trust you, and I need you to trust me. You check me out behind my back, and now you think I should trust you? Do they not teach you logic in the FBI? What about cause and effect? I'm not sure why you are so angry. Doing a background check on someone is common and perfectly normal. Maybe in your world, it is. In my world, we respect people's privacy. Never mind the fact that you can't learn everything about a person from a report. If you must know, it is true that one of the men under my command betrayed my unit. He took bribes to look the other way, as several $1 million worth of military equipment was stolen and sold on the black market. It is also true that I never fully trusted the guy. He seemed shady to me the moment he transferred to my unit. That is why I caught him. You, on the other hand, I thought I could trust. I guess we all make mistakes. You should leave now. Talk to the superintendent. Tell him you want a new partner. Mike's reaction stunned Beth, and she suddenly felt as though she had made a grave error, one from which she could not recover. She left the cabin and got into her car. She sat there for a long while but didn't start the engine. She tried to hold back the tears, but she wasn't strong enough. She screwed up big time. How could she fix it? She knew an apology would not work, but she had to start there. She got out of her car and knocked on Mike's door. She waited 30 seconds and knocked again. Finally, the door opened. Mike looked at her but said nothing. "Can I come in?" Beth asked. Mike hesitated for a few seconds and then opened the door all the way and stepped aside. Beth walked in, closed the door, and said, "I am so sorry. I did a terrible thing. I didn't consider your feelings, and I am ashamed of that. I have become so accustomed to allowing a computer to make judgments that I should be making myself. Will you forgive me?" Mike was quiet for several seconds and finally said, "I always believed people who are genuinely sorry deserve a second chance. I don't, however, believe in third chances." "I agree," Beth said. "If I ever need a third chance, I won't deserve it. If we are going to work together, I need to know that you will be there when I need you, and you need to know the same thing about me. If we can't trust each other, you will be better off with someone else. That means no secrets. You tell me everything, and I will tell you everything. Can you do that?" "I can do that," Beth said. "I trust you and promise never to do anything behind your back again." Mike studied her face for a moment as if looking for sincerity, then said, "I forgive you, but expect me to be angry for a while yet. I can live with that." "Would you like something to eat before we head out?" Mike asked. "I don't have much left. I need to go shopping, but some frozen waffles are in the freezer." "I like waffles," Beth said. "Well, you might change your mind after you try these." Mike took the box out of the freezer and took out 4 waffles. He had a 4-slice toaster, so he was able to toast them all at once. While waiting for the toaster, he got out plates, silverware, and maple syrup. He made coffee before Beth arrived and poured 2 cups. They didn't talk much during breakfast. When they finished, Beth helped clean up and asked, "So what should we do first today?" "Dave is being released at noon, and we are going to pick him up. Before that, I thought we could do my normal patrol. We shouldn't see anyone, but you never know." "I'm happy your friend is okay," Beth said. "Yeah, he was lucky. Do you think we need to worry about being exposed to whatever is out there?" "I think we do, but as long as we stick to the roads, we should be okay. If you are worried, I could go without you." "No," Beth said immediately. "I'm not worried." "Okay then, we should get going." Mike grabbed a bag that he had put Dave's clothes in earlier, and they got in his SUV. Mike drove slowly as they wound their way through the forest. "This is beautiful out here," Beth said. "So much nature." Mike looked at her for a moment and said, "You've never really had a break from the city, have you? I mean, you grew up in one urban area and then moved to another urban area when you took the job with the FBI. I suppose that is true. I did drive through some pretty rural areas on the way to Washington. I don't think that is the same thing." "I suppose not," Beth said. "I grew up in a small town that was probably not too different from the town where you grew up in some ways," Mike said. "The streets were lined with houses. We had cable TV, internet, and all the normal stuff. There was a supermarket, a hardware store, and pretty much anything you would need. The major difference, I guess, would be that the next nearest town was 10 miles away, and everything in between was either forest or farms. It wasn't uncommon for high school kids to go hunting before school. That's amazing. When I was young, I could barely wake up in time to get to school. I was the same way. I've never been a morning person. You get used to it if you have to, Beth said. Suddenly, a loud bang came from the vehicle's roof, which startled Mike and Beth. Mike looked up and said, "What the hell was that?" He slowed down seconds before something hit the road in front of them. He slammed on the brakes and got out. Beth got out too, and they both looked at what fell out of the sky in front of them. "It's a duck," Mike said. They looked up and saw an entire flock of ducks falling to the ground. They jumped back into the vehicle as ducks slammed into the ground around them. When it was over, they got out and looked at the carnage. "Holy shit," Beth said. "I've never seen anything like that. It's like we're in some kind of horror movie." "Yes, but this is no movie." Mike knelt to examine the closest duck. It has no apparent injuries except for hitting the ground. It wasn't shot. Mike stood up and looked around. He saw more than 24 ducks scattered about on both sides of the roadway. A couple were still alive, but barely. "Whatever is out there, these ducks must have found it," Beth said. Mike walked over to several of the ducks and examined their position. He was able to make a rough guess in which direction they came from. He took out his phone and opened the compass app. "I would guess they were coming from the south-southeast," he said. He then opened the map and took a screenshot of their location. "Is that where the meteorite was?" Beth asked. "I think so, but I'm not sure. This road winds around a lot. We can check the map later. Right now, I want to bring one of these birds with us." He picked up the nearest duck and put it in the back of the vehicle. "It will be close, but I think we have time to get it to the coroner's office and still make it to the hospital in time to pick up Dave. Let's find out if the coroner will autopsy a bird." They got back into the vehicle, and Mike turned around and headed towards Roanoke. When they arrived at the coroner's office, Mike grabbed the duck and they went inside. The woman behind the counter saw the duck and said, "Excuse me, you can't bring that in here." Beth flashed her identification and said, "We need to speak with the medical examiner." The woman hesitated and then went into the back. She returned a minute later with the medical examiner. It was the same doctor they had spoken with previously. "Good morning, doctor," Mike said. "I know this is strange, but we need you to examine this duck and find out what killed it. We want to know if its death was caused by the same thing that killed those people the other day." "I'm afraid I don't know anything about ducks. Perhaps a vet would be better able to help you." "A vet hasn't seen what you saw in those people. You know what you are looking for." The doctor sighed and held out his hand to take the duck. Mike handed it to him, and the doctor said, "I'll see what I can find." "Thanks so much," Mike said. Beth handed him her business card and said, "Please call me when you learn something." They headed straight to the hospital when they left the coroner's office. They found Dave sitting in bed, waiting for the hospital to finish his paperwork so he could leave. He was still wearing his hospital gown and had a bandage on one side of his face. "How are you feeling, buddy?" Mike asked. "I'm fine. I was fine yesterday. I'm ready to get out of here." Mike handed Dave the bag, and he said, "My clothes. Great. Thanks a lot. They didn't want me to put my bloody clothes back on." "Yeah, that would probably not look good for the hospital if a patient left all bloody," Mike said. Everyone laughed, and Dave went into the bathroom to change. 20 minutes later, he was released, and they headed back to the park. Dave sat in the back seat and asked, "So what did they learn about that meteorite?" "It turns out it was harmless," Mike said. "Seriously?" Dave asked. "Yep, that's probably why you didn't get sick." Mike said, "Whatever is causing people to go crazy and die is still out there somewhere." "That's unbelievable," Dave said. "What are the odds that people would go crazy after a meteorite strike and the two are not related?" Beth chimed in and said, "I'd say the odds are about 100%. Dave laughed and said, "So what do we do now?" "There's no we," Mike said. "You have been ordered to take it easy for a few days." "That's ridiculous," Dave said. "I'm fine." "Maybe you are fine, Dave, but I was told to bring you home, and that's what I'm going to do. You can do what you want afterward, but Johnson wants you off duty until the doctor says otherwise. Dave slumped back in his seat, and Beth said, "Do you have to bring him straight home? I'm getting hungry. Maybe we can stop for lunch first." "That's a great idea, Beth," Dave said. "We are running low on food, and knowing Mike, he hasn't gone shopping yet." "I've been kind of busy, Mike said. "Oh, yes, I'm sure you've been very busy," Dave said. "You need to remember that I won't always be here. You need to learn to do things on your own." "What are you talking about? I do plenty. I just don't like shopping, but I do cook more than you do." "Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses," Beth said, trying to break up the tension. Mike looked back at Dave, and they both smiled. He then looked at Beth and said, "That's nice of you to intervene, but don't worry. We razz each other all the time." "I should have known," Beth said. "Why do men give people they like a harder time than people they don't like?" "I don't know," Dave said. "Maybe we are like kittens that pounce on each other for fun. It's like practice. When we need to insult somebody, we'll be ready." "The ability to insult someone must have been a great survival tool for our hunter-gatherer ancestors," Beth said. "Your sarcasm is noted, but I'm sure it was very helpful," Mike said. "Just think how many more people survived when two rival tribes fought each other with words instead of spears." "I can't argue with that logic," Beth said. They stopped at a local diner that Mike and Dave had visited many times. It started raining as they pulled into the parking lot, so they rushed inside. It was crowded. All the tables were taken, so they sat at the counter. An older woman wearing a name tag that read Marie approached them and said, "Hello, Ranger Mike." "Hello, Ranger Dave. What happened to you?" "Just a little scuffle with a coyote," Dave said. "Oh, wow," she said. "I never heard of them attacking humans before." "It doesn't happen very often," Dave said. "I guess I'm special." "You are special, Ranger Dave. I'm glad you're okay." "Thanks, Marie. So what can I get you today?" Everyone gave Marie their order, and after she walked away, Dave said, "What do you think we should do the rest of the day?" "You need to go home and rest," Mike said. "Doctor's orders. You need to let those wounds heal. You don't want to get an infection." "What about you and me?" Beth asked. "We should do something." "I'm not sure what we can do," Mike said. "The EPA won't be back until tomorrow. It's not like we can go traipsing through the woods unprotected. Besides, it's supposed to rain most of the day." "I know, but it feels like we should be doing something. Sitting around at a time like this seems wrong." "I agree. It does seem wrong. There's just nothing to do right now. Tomorrow will be a busy day, so perhaps rest would be the best thing for us today, too." After lunch, they drove back to the park. They stopped first at Beth's cabin to drop her off. When she got out, Dave took her place in the front seat. Mike rolled his window down and said, "I'll call you in the morning. We'll probably leave early." Beth stood in the rain, looking like she wanted to say something, but instead, she just nodded and went inside. Once inside, Beth sat on the sofa, put her head back, and stared at the ceiling. She found the remote for the television and turned it on. She flipped through the channels for a few minutes and, seeing nothing worth watching, turned it off. She sat there, thinking for a while, then picked up her phone and called her mother. "Hi, honey," her mom said. "Are you just now getting home? You and, John must have had a good time." "I'm still here at the park, Mom." "Oh, wow. How did you get the extra time off?" "I didn't. I'm working on an assignment here." "I'm confused, Beth. I thought you were there with John." "It's a long story, but you were right about John. He was not the man for me." "I'm sorry, honey. Are you okay?" There was a long pause while Beth gathered her thoughts. "I've been better, Mom. John never came. He blew me off for another woman." "Oh no, I'm so sorry, honey. No wonder you are feeling bad." "That's not even the worst of it. I don't even care about John anymore. I met a man. He's a park ranger here. I really like him, but I did something stupid, and now I fear he will never trust me again." "That's a tough one, honey. Trust is just as important as love in a relationship. You have two options right now. You can give up and forget about him, or prove that you are worthy of his trust. Which will you choose?" "Thanks, Mom. You always have a way of making me feel better." That's what moms are for. Falling Star continues on the next video. For more information on this book and others by this author, please visit charleshuss.com.